Hey, I have a feeling that Mr. Var, whatever his name is, might actually be onto something with the world's most aggressive way of pointing where to go. Over there, in the distance! Hello, my fellow tarnished, and welcome one and all today to one of the few things in life that you simply can't get away from. Taxes. Blood taxes. Yeah, the kind of, well, cast out, unloved member of the Blood Ash of War family actually has a lot more going for it than I think you, me, and a lot of people have given it credit for. You see, the thing is, blood loss, as we know, is inherently ridiculously powerful in Elden Ring, so it stands to reason that even a bad blood-based ability would still be good. And as it turns out, yeah, it's really not bad, and today I want to show you just why. So, first and foremost, what exactly does blood tax do? Well, you have a little bit of a pause power up, and then you stab, murdered, kill. And with each of those stab, murder, kill stabs, you build up massive amounts of blood loss, and do a good decent amount of damage, and heal for about 5% of your health. Which is actually a really solid heal. You can essentially just eliminate the need for flash, especially as you're clearing through a level, but hey, it also works great as a flash replacement on bosses too, while also killing them really hard, as my attempt against Melania does show. So that's really cool, but the thing is, it has going for it a special property that elevates it beyond most of the things in the game. It's the same special property that has elevated a few of the most ridiculously broken boss melting in seconds builds I have shown you. It's a property that if a weapon or an Ash of War or an ability has, it tends to just automatically become ludicrously powerful, because this combination of power-ups, if it can apply to something, is the recipe for success. It's basically the Exodia universal lineup of Elden Ring.
It's not possible!
But before I reveal what it is the hell I'm actually talking about, where do we actually get blood tax from? Well, as you might be shocked to learn, from the Palace of Blood. It is in a cave near the rune farming Grace as you head down the hill and on your right from a beetle, and that is all good. And indeed, what weapon are we going to apply this to? Well, the thing is, it goes on a lot of weapons, and you want something with decent reach, but you also want something with inherent blood loss on it, because it really stacks up and multiplies with the bonus blood loss done by the Ash of War to really amp those procs. So the choice for me is the Forked Greatsword. It's a little bit off the beaten path. You farm it from any of the imps in any of the various dungeons that are wielding it. This one here I found to be the best place to farm it, as there is an imp waiting for you just down the steps from the Grace, who indeed has it in his hands. And this is a fairly solid, higher damaging weapon that has fairly solid reach and has very solid blood loss at 110 when maxed out on a cult. And you do want a cult because that results in a lot more damage than just going pure blood loss, and you don't really actually lose much blood loss build-up in doing so. So that's really nice. Inherently though, you just want a nice long weapon with at least B arcane scaling on a cult with natural blood loss, and you are good, golden and ready to go. So what is that combination that I was talking about? Well, it's simple, really. If you have an Ash of War that can utilize Alexander's Shard for 15% more damage, Rotten Winged Talisman for a boatload more damage as you do repeated quick attacks, the same for Millie's Prosthetic, and then of course the Bloodlord's Exaltation and White Mask for an extra 30% damage when that happens, and the Wondrous Physic that has the same effect as the Rotten Winged Talisman, well then you are in the position to do an absolutely metric ton of damage. It's almost impossible for anything that works with this set of talismans and Wondrous Physic lineup to be bad, because it's just so good when you have all of these working in tandem. And indeed then, blood tax is no different. You have these rapid stabbing attacks which very much count and then some towards Rotten Winged and Millie's Prosthetic, starting at a quite kind of meager, just alright AR of 856 when buffed up up with your golden vow and your flame grant me, we then do a couple little stabby stabs on this helpful test omen, and, well, as you can see, we skyrocket all the way up to nearly 1800, which is an incredibly solid AR for a move that also heals us and does ridiculous amounts of blood loss. And it does just shy seppuku equivalent amount of blood loss, and obviously against a player that is going to quite literally blow them up. And against players, it really does work. You can trade with this very easily and, well, lock them into being chain staggered until the final hit which will bleed them and likely kill them. And the Greatsword itself is very solid in PvP too, and it's just a really fun way to actually go about playing. And generally, I just think this Ash of War is a little bit too slept on. If it didn't have the healing component, then there is just outright better blood-based damaging Ashes of War. But as an all-rounder, it's quick, it's high damage, it heals you, it's got that solid bleed, it does lots of hits, it's got good stagger. It's just an all-round jack of all trades, but certainly very strong in said trades, that lets you basically handle any given situation really effectively, and I think it's definitely worth considering just a little bit more than some of the more conventional options, especially when it comes to bleed. I mean, again, bottom line, anything bleed based is good in Elden Ring, but I think Bloodtext has a lot more going for it than I perhaps think it's been given credit for. So that then is about that. I just kind of wanted to spotlight and highlight this Ash of War and see if I could actually make it into something very worthwhile using, because I've always kind of really enjoyed it, and I've gone through a lot of weapons. There's a lot of half-made, failed, binned, canned videos that have featured this that never quite saw the light of day because I wasn't quite happy with how it performed. It wasn't quite strong enough or quite good enough, but I should have realized that the old reliable maximum damage talisman combination would be the way to go, given it does actually work with it. As soon as something activates Rotten Winged, basically you can get very excited because you're probably onto a winner, and I guess that's both really cool but also a little bit like, yep, okay, here we go again. So that depends entirely on your view there. In any case, there we have it. Bloodtext, have a look. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more so you don't miss future build guides, spotlights, funny bits, all of that good stuff. Please consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Fortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.